Hey, this is Sam Black with my second match with this Black-Red Kaladesh Draft League deck. A hand that's very similar to my hand in the previous round. Unfortunately, I'm on the draw this time, but I'm still happy to start with a Fretwork Colony and an Operative and an Artifact. My opponent is also interested in being aggressive, but I've drawn Subtle Strike, which will play very well against my opponent's 1 toughness creature. I really like leading Colony, but my opponent's making a pretty compelling case for trying to be a little defensive here. I'm going to play the Operative to stop this thing from attacking. If my opponent plays an Artifact, I might just trade with this Operative no matter what. Yeah, I'm just going to trade. I did kind of build my deck with the plan of trading with these Operatives a lot. I think it'll work out. Now I'm not under much of a clock since my opponent didn't do anything, so I think I can afford to play the Colony. Alright, well, I'd certainly trade my 2-drop for my opponent's 4-drop if I have the opportunity. I would like to scry, I would not like land. I was really hoping that my opponent would incorrectly make the Servo here so that I could kill it with Subtle Strike, but... and by it, I mean the 3-1, obviously, not the Servo. I made my opponent's thing kind of get dark. That's weird looking. Can't block. Can't usefully interact. I definitely want to kill that. I think I should just do it now. -1, +1. Attacking with the Eager construct was pretty aggressive. I'm kind of leaning on this master to stabilize against the squad, which I think it can do. I usually like to make a 4/6, but on this board I'm just going to make the 3/1/1s, and that should shut down the ground. Oh, that's not a bad card to have. Opponent passed with a bunch of mana up, which could represent a removal spell. I'm going to just attack with everything and then play the master. And I was right. Tidy conclusion on that thing. Not a problem. Excuse me. Servos. Very good for blocking menace creatures. That's not really a thing. So at the moment it looks really bad for my opponent if I just disintegrate this thing and bash with the team, especially if I put the goggles on this. So let's do all that. I'm doing this before equipping here to play around the counter thing unless I spend 2. I'll chump block those 2, go to 1. I like it. Alright, so aggressive black deck splashing blue. A bunch of night market lookouts. Once again, not looking like a great matchup for the Accomplished Automaton. Things that are a little cheaper might be better. You could just play the Lawless Broker. That seems fine. What about this thing? Demolition Stomper was pretty impressive. Let's give that thing another shot. I do like that, if nothing else, it's just an artifact rather than not an artifact. Don't think I need the Brawler or the Emerald Bruiser here. My opponent is black this time, so could have something like Subtle Strike or Make Obsolete that would really punish me for playing the 1 toughness creature. My opponent might have been black last time, but my opponent's like very black this time. It's a different thing. His hand's clearly awful. I do like equipment into thing that wants equipment into Artificer, but I don't want one mountain. Another one mountain. This time with a Scry on the draw, I could try to find the swamp and play the construct, but I'm just gonna mulligan again and probably lose. Keep, look for a land, put this on the bottom. Super unlikely to win with this hand because it's really bad. Well, I'm glad to get to scry again. Yes, please. Sadly, no. I need a land. Alright. Kinda get to play the game. No. Alright. Let's... This thing is the beginning of your upkeep. Okay, so we definitely want to play this artifact that costs more than beam. This thing can't block, so it might as well bluff an attack. I have brute... or, built to smash, don't block. Good. I guess I'll take it. Don't want my opponent to get to draw for this servo. I'm not sure that I want to be killing Padim this turn. I do not like what is happening here. Really don't want to have to unlicense disintegration this thing, but it's kind of scary clock. Maybe I'm supposed to attack with both creatures so that my opponent trades the squad to try to draw with Padim and then kill Padim. That's probably right. Use this while I still have an artifact. I'm behind, but at least my opponent doesn't have a super fast clock. If I draw a land, it's conceivable that the P-foul can stabilize the board. Pretty happy with my opponent just casting Live Fast that turn, if that's all my opponent does. I need time to get on the board here, so... Alright. That wasn't a great draw. Cannot block, must attack. Well, at least now I'm sort of threatening lethal. That if I hit and then play a cheap artifact, I win. So my opponent has to plan to block, probably. Oh, there's a blocker. Yeah, I'm dead. This thing's gonna kill me. Well, actually, my opponent will attack and kill me first, but not winning either way. This configuration felt fairly appropriate. I could Skygate, but I don't think I need to if I'm just hitting my land drops. We'll go first. I will try to do it with swamps. Just really hoping for multiples. I don't even have an artifact to turn these things on. I'm gonna ship it again. Keep and probably lose. Put this on the top so that I can at least cast Pia. $17 lands with a lot of 2-drops. 10 swamps, very few red cards. This should be a particularly consistent deck, so it's frustrating to lose to double multi-5s, but I mean, I haven't lost yet. Yep. Gonna need to draw a couple of swamps. If my top 2 cards are swamps, I think I'm actually in pretty good position. Ugh. That's worse. Definitely keeping Pia. Beyond that, I'm not sure. It could be any of the others. Wildfast Monitor makes it most likely that I can play the most cards, but it's much more likely that I draw one of my 10 swamps than one of my 5 mountains. Unlicensed Disintegration gives me a good removal spell, but Midnight Oil lets me actually play a long game when I don't have any cards. I'm going to keep Pia and Midnight Oil. I don't think that this is the most likely to let me participate in the game, but I think it's the most likely to let me win the game. I think if I keep Pia and Monitor, it's too likely that I draw this mountain and I get to play them and I lose anyway, whereas at least if I draw a couple of swamps with Midnight Oil, I can take the game over pretty quickly. This is a good thing to have in a bit. Let's try to force my opponent to trade with Pia by presenting the fast flying clock. rather than making Pia big to try to get the trade. Because if I don't get the trade, it's not that bad. If I draw a land, I can just play a 3/3 haster and start clocking and potentially kill my opponent fairly quickly if they decline the trade.